let's kick off the meeting. Hi everyone, I'm Andra. I'm the social media coordinator at Agora Gallery. Thank you for joining us for the second episode of Agora Studio Visit, a weekly vlog in which we will learn more about some of our artists and get to know a bit about their creative process. Thank you everyone for watching us, and thank you for your wonderful feedback. Let's kick it off. Sabrina, do you want to?
Hi everyone. I'm Sabrina. I'm the Director of Marketing and PR. Welcome. Today we will be visiting with photographer markpizza and photographer Roberto Silva. And we are super excited and honored to be joined by our art expert today, Ave Pildar, who brings over 50 years of his expertise to our industry and dedication to his practice. So thank you, Ave, for joining us and making the time. We're so excited to have everyone here. So, Mark, would you like to start us off? Give us your tour.
Oh, sure, yeah. I'll tell you a little bit about myself and my background. I have some examples I put together in my process as well. For my background, just so people know, I've been doing photography for over 30 years now, and I went to school for photography, commercial photography and digital imaging at RIT in upstate New York. And after getting out of school and working in the industry, I decided about 8 years ago to go down the fine art, personal photography path. So the last few years, several years, I've been working with a collage work, composite digital overlay, as I call it. And I printed on various substrates like metal, canvas, acrylics, metallic and fine art paper as well. And I've started doing some mixed media process with acrylics and oil pastels and overlays that hopefully I'll start rolling that out in a few months. But my current work is on metal and canvas and acrylic. It's all photographic based. And with my background in photography and digital imaging, obviously the whole digital compositing and overlaying really came into play and worked well. And with my process of what I do is, you know, I'm always shooting, constantly shooting, and I think a lot of photographers can relate to that. And when I see a moment or a scene going on that strikes me, it's usually if it's motion or texture and color and energy as well, like whether it's the nature of the scene or the people moving by. That's when I just start capturing a lot of photographs. And then I'll go back and I'll start constructing those elements together to tell a story. And the story may be that moment in time of where I was and what I was doing, or it may be something that I'm thinking about that I want to convey to the viewer. And maybe tell a little bit about myself, but also convey something, hopefully it will strike something in them and they can relate to it. Let me just show you some of my work so you can see what I've been doing. Hopefully you can see this.
Oh.
So this image, the next few images that I'll show you is the stuff that I've been working on and represents the past several years. These are multiple photographs put together. I work in New York. I have a home in Maine, so the city living, the beach, the water. And what's really represented a lot of the stuff I do is just what our life is now. It's constantly multitasking, so much energy, so much going on. And to me, taking one image, which I do, it was hard. So to just tell a story in one image. So I've kind of gone to the multiple. This is another image I've done through my travels, going to England and London and trying to capture what the experience was there. Here's another one that relates back to the rural scenes, the beaches, the water, the serenity, but also living in the New Jersey and New York and the urban scenes and how that comes together through the seasons and the time and what I'll be going through. Now I start heading into some of the images I've created, which actually were pretty recent in the beginning of the year of what was going on. You know, I think the new year started out kind of exciting for a lot of us, but then quickly by mid-January and early February, things started to change. A little bit more of an isolation and loneliness and what was going on in separation. And as I went through, I started looking at people, but in a more black and white silhouette way. You know, what is their story? What are they doing? What is going on at this moment? The masses of people. And this is another one going back to, this is a time and a place. Will we ever get there? Will these people exist again? And most recently, this was one as well. I very rarely do white environment, but something was just calling to me in the last few weeks to show energy within the people and within that silhouette versus outside. My recent work, and this is something I just did in the last 2 weeks, very monotone. There is some color. Obviously, I think we all can relate to what the message is and what's happening. I did have a stagnant period where I wasn't creating at all for like 3 weeks. And just recently I started to get back into this, and I'm working with these type of scenes. So that is some of the examples of where I've come from recently and now what I'm doing currently. I can go in to show you how sometimes I do my process, or I can save that till later.
I think, yeah, save that for later. This is great, Mark. Thank you so much for sharing that. I mean, I know a lot of your studio centers right there where you are in your space. I can't see you. There you are. Yeah, but thank you. I mean, obviously we love your work. Very interesting, such great storytelling. And like you said, in so many different directions that can be interpreted in so many ways, which is something that made me fall in love with your work right away. So thank you so much for showing a little bit behind what goes into it. And Ave, what do you think?
Well, I'm certainly committed to visuals, and I think that I'm a visual person like you guys are. So I get a lot of information through my eyes. And I can remember that in high school, I just about flunked Latin, was not very good at English or composition. But I was very good at in my art classes and in mathematics and things like that. So I was destined to become some kind of a visual artist. And I had a really good education. So my education was such that I studied architecture and then graphic design, and never had, I think I might have had one darkroom course in college, but I always took pictures. And I started out taking pictures of, I guess in the really late 50s, you know, maybe 1959 or something. Nice. But let's hear from Roberto.
Yeah.
Yes, nice to see your history, Avi. Well, I'm a former IT professional, and I'm retired now since 2015. And I always liked photography, but all my life I was passionate as I loved to go abroad to know different places, different people, and I've always take photos that I didn't like after all, because it was not that I've seen. So I started to become more interested in photographing and you know, to improve my techniques. So I started photographing a lot and tripping and going abroad and mainly in my own country, Brazil, because I didn't know many places, so I started to, I joined a photographer here in Brazil, a famous photographer called Walter Firmo, and his course. And he travels a lot by inside inside the country, going to feasts, going to religious feasts and things like that. And I was marveled because I didn't know that. Even me living here, only because I live in a great city, and I didn't know the culture, the things, so many colorful feasts. For example, the Holy Spirit feast. Every city, many cities here have different interpretations of this feast. It's wonderful. Each one, because Brazil is a very mixtured culture mixture. Europeans, Africans, slaves, and so on, and they brought us culture, a diversity. So beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah. So I show my work here is based on that, and I always want to, even at Carnival this year, I was going to an Indian community that was scheduled, but unfortunately, because of this problem of the virus, it was postponed. But I hope to go there. Maybe September, I don't know, this year or next year. But I'll show you some of what I'm talking about. Here's my page. So this is an obvious presentation, and I divided some of my work. This is I think I began with Alter do Chão. I've been there this year. Last year, September 2019, and this is one of the places. It was a feast. It's a folkloric feast over there called Boto Feast. Boto is a kind of dolphin, and there are red dolphin, pink dolphin that battles with another a gray dolphin, something like that. It's a culture feast of this place. And so this is the sambaúba tree. You see the giant tree like that. It's amazing. I didn't know. It's very impressive, the place in itself.
Beautiful. Mm-hmm.
Some of the communities there, I've been to some communities, and the nature is amazing, simply amazing. And I show you a little bit of, I don't know if I have a part of the feast here. This girl is representing the Boto cor-de-rosa, the pink dolphin. And this is a beach. Imagine, this is a river beach. It's amazing. You can't see the other side of the river. It's very beautiful. Mm-hmm. You're looking is as beautiful as you see here. And this is Parque da Cidade, Capoeira, that I think Sabrina first saw this work. Mm-hmm. It's Niterói. It's a city across Rio de Janeiro, across the Guanabara Bay, and this is a mountain that you can see Rio de Janeiro from there. And I was lucky that a group of capoeira dance was showing, and I began to make this photograph session, and
They're cool.
it became. I think it's
Like those.
was very nice too, and that's it. This is Jardim Botanic Garden here in Rio de Janeiro. I like to black and white pictures as well. I love to make my pictures, turn my pictures in black and white as well.
Yeah, no, beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Abe, what do you think?
I had the opportunity to look at some of you guys' work before this, so I had an idea of what you were doing. And I think for creative people, there are no rules except the ones that you make for yourself. So almost anything that you can do is yours, and it shows your creativity. So that you're using collage or collaging images together, or you're interested in a particular subject, so you're doing more traditional photography. There isn't a right or wrong. There's only a like or a dislike. You can like something or dislike something, and not to be confused with good or bad, because there's a lot of bad stuff that I like, and I'm sorry to say that. And but I know the difference between good and bad. So I just think that at least personally, I feel very blessed that I can be creative, and even at my age, and I hate to play the age card, that you can continue to make things that you feel are relevant, and that's why I feel blessed that I'm not in a 9-to-5 job. I don't do things that at the end of the day I say, oh, I hate this. I don't have those problems. I think, hey, like I got something done today, or I discovered something. So those are things that make me happy and really keep stress from destroying oneself, So I don't feel stressed out by what I do. What I do is I solve problems. I can't say it's always relaxing, but I can say at the end of the day, I'm not hating anything. It's maybe my neighbor, but no, no. I try to get along with people, and in fact, I spend a lot of time on the street talking to people and interacting with them. So,
Sure.
I think people watching is definitely an art form, and converting it or photographing people is also just shows the humanity of the world. So there's just so much to do, and so little time. You're just here for a short time. If you're lucky, it's 100 years, which is a drop in the bucket. So.
Absolutely, yeah. All right. Well, thank you all. I want to raise one question that I would be curious, especially for you, Roberto, since I know that travel and culture and making these discoveries is important in your work. But right now, obviously, you're not doing that. And I'm just curious how that's influenced your work, and you as well, Mark, and you as well, Abe, and what everyone's sort of doing during this time to keep the creative juices flowing.
Well, I don't know if I understood the question, but you asked me what I'm doing right now, that we are in quarantine
Right.
times. Okay. Like I said, I've mounted a studio here at my place. I bought some, I don't know, tripods. I had tripods. I had a black curtain, a black fabric, and I put it to make black uh, the
Background.
Right.
yes, yes. And I'm working here with my girlfriend and joking, making things like with shadows, photographs, many kinds, trying to put the flash in different, uh, knowing, because I don't know much of photography, of portraiture, mainly studio portraiture. I'm more from street photography.
Right.
So I don't. I love to learn. I think in this at this time confined here at my place, I'm learning a lot of things every day because I've been on a computer most of the time, searching for things on the internet and learning a lot. So when all this is finished, I think I will be more prepared, you know,
Right.
to continue my work.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
I'm improving. I'm not lazy at home. No way. I'm learning a lot. That's why I used to work at my former work. Like Ave Pildar said, I worked 30 years, about 30 years of my life doing things that didn't give me pleasure at all. I'm only working for others, like he said. And on Wednesday, I said, oh, it's far from the weekend. Now I think, oh, it's the time just goes quickly because
Yeah.
I'm doing what I like, what I love, the most things that I love. I'm learning a lot every time, you know. So this quarantine is not so. Of course, it's bad that you can't go to the streets and photograph. But I'm not wasting my time. No, not a bit, not a little. It's an opportunity to increase, to learn. That's it.
Yeah. And then take that information back out with you and transform it again. That's really exciting.
Yes, yes.
What about you, Mark? Have you thought about this in relation to your work and what you're going to do next?
Yeah, it was interesting when this all came down, and I kind of mentioned a little bit. I was like static for the beginning. I do have like a day job that I work, so it was like transitioning out of the city. I'm in New Jersey right now, so everything that makes me shoot and create art is the energy of the city and the community and the people. Now all of a sudden I'm in my home by myself, and I was like, But it gave me an opportunity to look back at my archives and what I've done before and what has excited me, whether it's color, texture, nature. And I actually, I took advantage the first few weeks and went back to this flower series that I did, close-ups of, and I know it may sound funny, people like flowers, but what's interesting right now is, in what we were just talking about, like creativity, there's no right or wrong. In artwork, you can't really say there's a right or wrong. Yes, it can be good or bad. I agree with that. But, there's different levels of artwork and creativity. So I took the flower series and started doing collages because I was in my house, and we're in a social world right now, environment for sure, and started spitting that out on my Instagram feed. And the interesting thing about that is I got so many responses. So while I took these flowers and made textures and colors and also gave a little information of where they came from, it created this little creative process that people were sharing and passing on. So it kind of inspired me to, be creative in a way and connect with the people I can't connect with previously face to face. But then slowly, as that started to, evolve in something, I started going outside, and now I'm taking advantage of, the streets being empty and the buildings being cold. And there is something about wanting to now document that, which I showed in my last two images. And and then spitting that back out. But yeah, it's just been very interesting, whether it's a feel-good image that people can relate on a basic level, then getting into something a little more complex. So, you know, I expect to be here for another 5 to 6 weeks. So
Yeah.
I don't know where it's going to take me, but I'm excited to continue to explore it.
Right. Great. All right. And Ave, I know you shared a little
Well-
bit about what you're working on currently, and I know you have a show up. Well, that's closed right now, but you had a show up. Hopefully, you'll get a little more time on that exhibition when it reopens.
Yes, I miss the streets because I photograph outside a lot. But I have a lot of experience with studio photography. So even though I'm not shooting products, I'm building still lifes in my studio. So I build them, and they're often like sculpture. I take a little bit of Hollywood. So I build these things that look great from straight on, but they have nothing in the back. You know, so I build those, and then I can photograph those, light them, and photograph them. And then I destroy the still lifes, but I capture them with the camera. So I can do that inside. But I also draw, and if I have ideas, I draw them.
Well, thank you all for joining us. This was exciting. I love seeing your spaces and your faces, of course. So thank you again. This is really great.